Hi everyone, welcome to Frenchial. Today we're going to talk about the French greetings or les salutations. There are different ways to say hi, bye, and also a bunch of ways to ask how someone is doing. So let's start with the classic one. Bonjour, which is also nasal. Bonjour is what we say when we see someone, which is also formal. This F right here is for formal, and then this positive means it's for when you see somebody, as in saying hi. And negative also means that we use it for saying goodbye. So bonjour, the classic one that we probably all know, is the hi for when it's daytime. As you can see, there's a little sun up there. So when it's daytime, whenever you can see the sun and you want to say hi to somebody in a formal way, bonjour is your friend. So that's the good word to use in that case. Now you might ask, what about the nighttime? I mean, in the evening. So bonsoir. Bonsoir is the word that we need here. So when it's the nighttime, it's not, you can't see the sun or it's dark outside. You use this word, which is bonsoir, again, nasal, like bonjour. Formal and positive, which means it's used when you want to see you see someone and you want to say hi. Now, what about saying goodbye? In the daytime, what you use is bonne journée. Bonne journée. Try to repeat whenever I'm saying this. I dropped one little R here. Bonne journée. So, pay attention that this bonne is not nasal at all, so it's bonne, whereas these other words were bon, bonjour, bonsoir. As you can hear me clearly, bon, which is totally nasal. But this one, because of the double N, we'll talk about the phonetics later. These all have rules, don't be scared. Bonne journée is the goodbye version in the daytime, which is also formal, as I've shown it with an F in the parentheses. Then the same, we got the similar thing, the same thing. Here for the day nights or in the evenings. Whenever you want to say goodbye in the evening, in a rather formal way, you could say bonne soirée. Again, not nasal. Bonne soirée. So repeat after me. Bonne soirée. Bonne soirée. Bonne journée. Bonne journée. Bonjour. Totally nasal. Bonjour. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Okay. And we have a bunch of other things that don't necessarily have time. That is to say, it doesn't really matter if it's daytime or nighttime, dark outside or bright outside. It doesn't really matter. You can use them whenever you want. However, what's important here is the register. Some of them are informal and some of them are, one of them is formal. Au revoir is the formal version of saying goodbye, and it really doesn't matter what time of the day it is. So if it's daytime, you could use it. That works. If it's nighttime, well, you can still use it. But the thing that's important about au revoir is that this is formal. So by formal, I mean you use it with people you don't know, your boss probably, or people you don't have a really close relationship with, basically. So, au revoir, au revoir, au revoir. In spoken French, it is said really quickly, and then it would be heard like au revoir, au revoir, as if we've eaten this little E in the middle, or as it's pronounced. So, au revoir. Au revoir. Negative, which means it's only for saying goodbye. And quite literally, it means until we see each other again. So, voir means see, au revoir, until next time that we see each other. So, another very common way to say hi and bye at the same time is salut. Salut. Salut is interestingly used for saying hi and goodbye, which is definitely informal. You can use it with friends, with family members, people who are close to you. So, salut is informal, both positive and negative. Great. Another one here is à plus. À plus, which means until next time or until later. It's definitely informal and only used to say goodbye. Excuse me, does it really matter when we use them? As I said, not at all. There's no crescent or sun on top of them. And the last one, which is coucou. Coucou is a cute word, and you might have guessed this is definitely informal. And it's quite like salut because you can use it to say bye and hi at the same time. So when you see someone, coucou, for example, coucou Emily. When you see Emily for the first time in the day, and then when you want to say goodbye to the same person, Emily, you could use the same word, coucou Emily. So both usages are applied here. So you can both use it for saying hi and goodbye, and this is definitely informal, assuming Emily is your friend. Now, demander comment ça va. Comment ça va? Again, little va here. What does it mean? These are different ways to ask how someone is. So, vous allez bien, vous allez bien, pronounced together as vous allez bien is one of the main ways to say, are you okay? Or how are you? Bear in mind that this very vous allez bien is definitely formal because we have one vous here. We'll talk about the pronouns later. Here we're only talking about certain fixed phrases that are used in day-to-day speech. We'll talk about grammar, everything, the vocabulary, and which is definitely important. So, vous allez bien is the formal version to say how are you. Well, you might ask, what about the informal version? Tu vas bien. This vous right here is basically the pronoun you, but in French we have two types of you. One that is formal, to pay more respect to the person you don't know, or somebody who is kind of your boss, or somebody you have a strictly work relationship with. You could use vous. By the way, it could be you in plural, both. Or and also tu is the informal you, which is used for friends, or when you're addressing your friend or family members. So if next time if you want to ask how your friend is, you can ask them tu vas bien with a question intonation, which is rising. Tu vas bien? Tu vas bien? Are you okay? Another way, which is not formal, not informal, it's just used everywhere. Comment ça va? Comment ça va? Quite honestly, this is a little bit informal, but not too much. Comment ça va? Or ça va, which means is it okay? Comment ça va means how's it going, and ça va it's the same thing basically. Ça va means is everything okay, or how are things, if I want to translate it. So comment, repeat after me. Ça va, ça va. Comment ça va? Comment ça va? How is it going? Tu vas bien, which is more personal. How are you doing, or how are you? Again, informal. And vous allez bien, which means the same thing, but in a more formal way. Now, comment répondre? How to answer these questions? Well, the first one could be oui, merci. Oui, merci, which means yes, thanks. Yes, thanks, I'm okay. So, vous allez bien? Sorry. Vous allez bien? Yes. Oui, merci. You can say that. Or tu vas bien? You can say ça va bien? Oui. Which means, yeah, it's okay. Everything's going good. Or to the more personal questions, you can also say je vais bien. Je vais bien, which means I am fine, or things are good for me. Je vais bien. Et vous? This is for when you want to, ask the person who told you how you are the same question. Et vous, which means and you. We have vous here. If both of you are addressing each other with vous, then if somebody asks you vous allez bien, you can say je vais bien et vous. Or if they say tu vas bien, you can say je vais bien et toi. So, and as you can see, these are good responses. By good I mean positive. When you are okay, or you want to say you're okay. But when you're not that okay, how could you answer? You can say pas mal, not bad. Well, doesn't show so much excitement, which means things are not perfect, but it's okay. Pas mal, not bad. Quite literally, that's what it means. Or ça va, you can say pas vraiment if it's not really good. You can say not really. This means not really. Vous allez bien, pas vraiment. Tu vas bien, pas mal, not bad. Or ça va, je vais bien, et toi? So, it is suggested that you use the same formats for answering these types of questions. For example, if somebody asks you ça va, it's more common to answer with ça va bien. If somebody says vous allez bien or tu vas bien, it's more common to answer with this one, je vais bien, because as I said, it's more personal. Why again? Because they're addressing you. Tu, how are you? Vous allez bien, how are you? So, and also pas mal or pas vraiment for all of them. You can also say oui merci if you are okay, or ça va bien. So all of them basically work with almost all of them. No worries, but if somebody says ça va, it's suggested you say ça va bien. So answering in the same way that the question was asked. Now you might ask, well, excuse me, why is ça va a question and the answer, the response at the same time? Well, I got to tell you, one of the most common ways to make questions in French is by intonation. So if you have a rising intonation, you got it. You made a question. Now, that's not to say all the questions are made that way, but that's one of the most common ways. So saying ça va with a rising intonation makes it a question. And, well, responding with ça va bien, a descending intonation or falling intonation, you're making a just normal sentence as the response. There we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, drop your questions in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Until next time, take care.